All right, I find myself here. And this topic for this podcast is going to be, let's see, the art of waiting and conceding to the current of flow in your life. Wow, that sounds deep even for me. Let me read that again. The art of waiting and conceding to the current of flow in your life. Okay, waiting and conceding to the current of flow in your life. This sounds like a topic that was given to me. It didn't sound like something I wrote, although it actually does sound like something I wrote. But the cool thing about it is that I did not plan or prepare for this. The topic came in my head and I said, write it down and just talk about it. So again, the art of waiting and conceding to the current of flow in your life. So in life, what I'm getting is that there's a current, there's a flow of energy, right? And a lot of the times why we end up in problems is that we do not concede to the flow. Every river, every ocean has a current, undertones, currents. And if you know about rivers and oceans, you can actually get pulled down or tossed. And when you're trying to swim against the current, it can be catastrophic. The best thing to do is to go with the flow. So if it's going left, you just go left. I'm not saying that we should have no direction and no purpose, but there's sometimes in life when life is so rough and so not nice. Not nice. Sometimes it's not worth to fight. Sometimes we just have to concede. And again, as you would know by now, that this whole concept of the rivers and the flow of current in your life is really an allegory, right? Or a metaphor for just any situation in your life where, you might feel like it is very hard to deal with, right? So, yeah, I strongly recommend that you just go with the flow, go with the flow, go with the flow. Don't fight. Don't fight. Sometimes you just need to let it flow, just like that song. Just let it flow. How you go again? Was it Brandy? Or I don't know if you know, but yeah.
There comes a time when we could all make a change now. So let go. Let it flow, let it flow, let it flow.
We need to let the current flow in life. Don't fight it, right? A lot of the times, if we just let go and let God, might as cliche as it sounds, it makes a lot more sense. It's going to be way less daunting if we just allow things to flow, right? If you think about a relationship, I don't even know why I'm even talking about this right now because I'm no relationship expert, right? But if somebody wants to break up, right, you just let it flow. I mean, for my close circle, they might be like, anyway, but you just have to let it flow. Like you just have to concede because you can be holding on to something that no longer exists. And the good thing about letting go is that more often than not, something better will come along. Someone better will come along. Think about a job. I haven't had many jobs in my day, but I can recall my first job at a government agency. My supervisor was being very mean, treating me like crap. I could have held on to the job and I want the job because I had my little car loan and I had my first car, right? It was a nice little two-door Suzuki Samurai. And I kind of wanted to hold on to the job because I needed to make the monthly payments, right? Those were the days when monthly payments were nice and low, right? Anyway, supervisor was treating me like dirt. Well, I wouldn't say like dirt, but she was really, really mean. And it was, my little heart could not take it. I'm like, why is this woman so mean? But this is my first job. I did not know that supervisors, by and large, not all the time, but by and large, they can be really rough and tough, right? I walked off the job. Best decision I ever made, or one off. I felt free. I didn't have the car again because I sold it, but I felt free. Sometimes it's not good to be in a toxic environment. Somebody's treating you like trash. Just let it go. Somebody doesn't want to be with you. Just let it go. Someone is sick and tired of your presence. Just let it go. And I can tell you from the opposite end, when I was on the opposite end of probably giving somebody the cold shoulder or not being nice to them, I can tell you from my end, I'm in regret, like, wow, this was a star, this was a superstar. I really miss their company. It doesn't happen all the time. Like some people you really need to throw away or toss to the side. But sometimes you can actually look back in hindsight and, this was really a good one, right? So we have to let the current flow. Let me see if I answered the question right. Yeah, waiting and conceding to the current. Concede to it. And the reason why I use the word concede is because I'm thinking of Game of Thrones. Game of Thrones. Bend the knee. Bend the knee. Bend the knee!
Come to King's Landing, bend the knee or suffer the fate of all traitors.
The last king in the north was Torrhen Stark, who bent the knee to my ancestor, Aegon Targaryen. So I assume, my lord, you're here to bend the knee. Honor the pledge your ancestor made to mine. Bend the knee, and I will name you Warden of the North.
It takes no time to bend the knee.
I will fight for the North. When you bend the knee. I offer you a choice. Bend the knee and join me. Together, we will leave the world a better place than we found it.
Right? But I find that a lot of the times, me, myself, right? I find myself not conceding and being stubborn. And I'm not saying that you need to be a pushover and accept everything that comes at you and every concept. No, you need to stand up for your truth and stand for what you believe in. But there comes a point in time when you just have to concede. And I think one of the textbook examples is like with friends. Somebody doesn't want to be with you. Somebody's giving you the cold shoulder. Concede. Sometimes it's not worth winning a fight. Sometimes you're fighting with somebody so much that you lose yourself. And it's not worth it. Like, why lose yourself? Why feel exhausted after winning something that has no fundamental value? It's not going to make you better. It's not something you can carry to the bank. Why win? Why use all that energy? That's not a good way to deal with the seeds of your time, right? So again, we're tying this into I find myself here. I find myself here, right? The seed. What do? You concede sometimes. You concede to the waves. You concede. Not all the time you need to be swimming upstream. Sometimes you just need to pull to the side. Think of it even if you're in a storm. Like recently in Jamaica, there were like crazy rains. You have a couple heroes. Shout out to the person maybe I shouldn't say in the Benz, you know yourself. I don't know the situation. I don't know what happened, right? Maybe I shouldn't have said that, but I did. I said what I said.
If I wanted to say that, I would have wrote it. I said what I said.
Had to bring in the Nene leaks. Anyway, sometimes it might just be better you just pull over to the side and just let the wind and the rain and everything just go through. Sometimes if you're fighting something that should not be fought, you're going to end up in trouble. Right? Sometimes we find ourselves in extremely daunting circumstances because we put ourselves there. If you had allowed the situation to just flow and not fight it, right? Just allow it to pass, you'd probably be better off, right? Like the storms and the rains of life don't last forever. It can't rain all the time. It can't be like a storm and hurricane all the time. Usually these are like a climax. At the eye of the storm, it's a climax and then it stops. So why make catastrophic decisions? Why make huge decisions that can pivot the very course of your life because of something that is fleeting that will pass? It doesn't make any sense, right? We need to know when to concede. When the storms of life are coming at us, when it's getting out of hand, we need to know when to pull over the proverbial car and be like, I'm not going to do this. Even when you're driving sometimes, concede to the sleep. You're sleeping. No. Okay. You know how much people crash because they don't concede to sleep? And I know it's probably not safe to pull over at night, but it's not safe to sleep drive either. I mean, sleepwalking is bad. It's not safe to sleep drive, right? Sometimes the best thing to do is just pull over to the side, wind up the little windows, press the little button on the side, right? So the doors are locked, and then hold a little 5 and get your energy up, right? That's what we need to do sometimes. We can't always fight things that we can't control. And if you know you have no control over something, Is it worth fighting it? That's like you're throwing stones at the sun. You're too hot. You're stoning. Just look how crazy it looks to be stoning the sun. It might be better to just get some cover. I'm not sure. Not sure. And you can use that for any topic. You can throw stones at the moon, the lake, whatever. Like at the end of the day, it's not going to change. And it's crazy to throw stones at the sun. And that might seem like really crazy. It's also crazy to throw proverbial stones at a person whose mind has been made up that they don't like you, that they don't agree with what you're saying, that they don't want to have anything to do with you. Sometimes we just need to let people be. And when people want to go, you let them go. Every single job I have left has been a blessing. I'm telling you. Sometimes I have X amount of money, or it might seem like I have a higher cash flow with a certain client. And when I walk away, on paper, I'm making less money. But for some reason, God provides more for me. Sometimes God needs less for you to get more. I'm telling you, what I've achieved this year, it's with less clients than I usually have. Shout out to all my clients. I like them all. And let me just say, my clients that I have, like, sometimes it's just a bidding game. I might win or lose a bid. So it's not like we had a fight. Sometimes somebody just came in a little less and whatever, and the rest is history. So next year I might get them back. Who knows? But the point is that you don't need a lot sometimes. Sometimes we just need to have better stewardship over what we do have and over what we can control. You can actually achieve a whole lot more with less money and a better budget instead of with tons of money and a horrible budget. Oh my gosh, I feel like the ushers need to collect an offering for that one. Any ushers in the room? No pan, no bag?
Please stop balling up and folding up and so we can't even figure out what it is. It's going to be $1 just laid out in there. It's all right. It won't hurt our family. We had to go to Family Dollar and buy iron. To iron out all the dollars because we can't even tell what they are. I work in the trustee ministry and we're trying to go to Golden Corral too. By the time we iron out all the dollars, everything is closed. And we don't even cook on Sunday no more. So just lay it in the plate. It's still going to be $1. Amen? Come on, y'all. Let's just get along. Come on. Help us out because we ushers.
Just let things flow. We need to just let things flow. Right? And not fight. Right? God doesn't need a lot. He needs consistency. He needs obedience. Right? And we can just use the little we have to create a whole lot. I'm telling you. Sometimes all we have is all we need. Right? And we just need to just trust God and just trust our gut and let things flow. Don't fight. It's not worth it. It's not worth it. So what I was saying is that with my clients, sometimes I have less business and just more prosperity because it really comes down to stewardship. How do you steward over what you have? And I said this in a previous podcast episode about the persons that win the lotto. You win the lotto, you win $100 million and you live like a king, a stupid king, for 2 years. And then you're actually worse off than you started. If you were to manage, though, and allowed your money to compound, allow your seed to compound, you'd have it for the long haul. So let us not be like those foolish lotto winners, right? Let us be the ones who save for a rainy day. Let us be the one that not only save our finances for a rainy day, but save our mental health. Right? Don't fight something if you know that it's not something that you can fight. If it's something that's existential, if it's something that's systemic, like somebody's personality that is in complete defiance of what you stand for, it's not worth it. So when those waves are tossing and tumbling, sometimes we need to proverbially pull the car over, and just make it go on do its thing. Just swim up on the bank of the river and make the river go and do its thing. It don't make sense to swim upshore like Superman. For what? For what? Listen, it's not worth being a hero these days. Sometimes it's worth being wise. The key to life I'm finding myself thinking about is wisdom, is knowing when to concede and realizing, okay, this is a lot bigger than me. I didn't expect this to be so much work. It's not worth it. Right? It's not for us all the time to finish something to the end. Sometimes we just need to carry something here. And I think that's the problem a lot of us face, even myself. Like with this podcast, it's my job to get the light, right? That is something I control. Get the lights, get my topics, try to do it as best as I can, make sure batteries are in the camera. In terms of now, this episode landing in Stephen Bartlett's lap.
And on my laptop, I record it, and I'm talking about very graphic things. And then I posted it, and, you know, like 26, 27 people listened to it.
Oh, 26 people.
Yeah, like,
Okay.
you know.
I thought you were going to say 27 million.
No,
people.
like 26 people, like 26 downloads. And like one of them was my friend. And my friend was like, that was good. And he's the type that tells you when you do bad things.
Yeah.
He roasts you. So he was like, that was good. So I was like, ooh. And I carried on doing it, and then life happened.
And he's like, hey, you know, David, I want to come on your show or come on my show. This is something great. That's not my pay grade. That is like God for like make the little links and make it little workout and everything like that, you know? And for Oprah and all these people, for them to like, ooh, this is nice, you know? Who knows? Anything is possible. So yeah, we need to know when to concede and we need to know when to keep going, right? And when you concede, it's not that you're giving up. You're acknowledging that the season right now, the rains, the wind, the current is a bit strong for me, and I need to just take a break. It's knowing when to take a break. And it's excellent example is when driving in the middle of the night in the rain and you're sleepy. And even if you're not in the middle of the night, but you're sleepy, it's knowing, okay, I need to pull over because it's not safe for me to keep going right now. Your task will be a lot less daunting if you have your energy and if you're fighting a battle that's worth fighting for, right? So sometimes it's really knowing when to pull the sword, when to lay low. It's really the art of war. It's the art of knowing when to realize, you know, this current might be a bit too strong and knowing when to stop, when to go. It's really a chess game, the chess game of life. And knowing when to do what and how to do it. So let me repeat it again. The art of waiting and conceding to the current of flow in your life. Waiting and conceding. So waiting. Sometimes we just need to wait. You know, you want a loan from the bank. The bank is saying you need X amount of days, X amount of paperwork. Just wait. Sometimes you want a phone call to do something, you just wait. Sometimes you want this opportunity, you just wait. It's not all the time you need to just be at it. Sometimes you just need to wait. If you think about even a farmer and the theme of I Find Myself Here, seed time, I find myself here. Seed time. Time implies what? Waiting. We have to wait. You can't plant some ackee yesterday and tomorrow you get ackee tree, and then you have so much ackees that you fill up the supermarkets and they keep wanting more, and you just have this never-ending supply of ackee because you planted a tree yesterday and poured some fertilizer. It no work so. You have to give it time to grow. And that is where God comes in. There are certain things that are outside of your hands, outside of your periphery, right? You do the planting, the fertilizing, the watering, and allow the thing that's happening underground to happen. And it's going to take time, right? All of the greats, every single podcast that I look up to that has inspired me to find myself here, right? And every brand that I have said, oh, I like that, to kind of create what I have today, right? It's because they took the time. It's like reading a book. There's so much knowledge from reading a book with like 50 pages, 20 pages, 100 pages. But guess what? Those authors probably took months, years to write the book. And now you have all that to funnel into in probably a couple hours or a couple days, right? So we need to know when to concede to the currents, to the flow of life, and when to back off a bit, when to lay low, when to allow seasons and times to pass, when to just allow a seed to grow, not to overwater it, not to over-fertilize, but just give it time. When you're sleeping, you don't want nobody rush you when you're asleep. You want to have imagine you got woken up after 3 hours of sleep every night. You're going to be cranky. Sometimes we just need time to breathe. So people, that's the message, Dose.